Sarah Huckabee Sanders said that the divide in America today is normal versus crazy. You can go down the list of crazy policies the left now has. Like, it's crazy to have an open border.
Correct.
But in the context we're talking about today, some of the crazy policies, is it crazy to defund the police?
100%.
Crazy. It just makes no sense, right? Is it crazy not to say bad guys who violate the law should be prosecuted and let them go free? Is that crazy?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
When you have a district attorney who doesn't prosecute the bad guys.
Yes, that's crazy.
That's crazy,
yes.
right?
Yep.
Not following the law. And here's the problem. Craziness has consequences. How short is the Philadelphia Police Department today in police officers?
So we just, I believe yesterday, got rid of our 6th police district, which covered Center City. So now they combine with the 9th district because of lack of manpower. The 8th district is geographically gigantic. It could take from one corner to the other almost 20, 25 minutes, lights and sirens, meaning, you know, pedestrians get out of the way, cars are supposed to pull over.
Is there a number? Is there a number short? Are you hundreds of officers short?
Thousands.
Thousands of officers short?
So in the 8th district, there'll be times where there's 2 radio cars and maybe a wagon to cover an area that's
so there's a consequence that you don't have enough police officers to do the job when you defund the police and you don't prosecute the bad guys.
Correct.
But the real consequences are what happened to the Fitzgerald family, to Marisa, who lost a husband, to Mrs. O'Connor, who lost. Those are the real consequences, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I thought Dr. Fitzgerald said something really insightful in his life. He said a lot of insightful things, but one of the things that stuck out to me was he said, criminals aren't stupid. They're just bad. They know the fact that you are thousands of officers short.
Absolutely.
They know that if they do something wrong, that this, what did you call him? Let him go, Larry?
That's correct. Let him go,
yeah.
Larry.
Let him go, Larry is going to let him go, right?
Yes.
They know all that because they're not stupid. They're just bad guys, and bad guys need to be prosecuted.
Will the defendants rise? Considering all the facts and arguments presented by both counsel, and after careful deliberation, I find the defendants guilty as charged. I hereby sentence you to serve 125 years in the custody of the Commissioner of the Department of Corrections.
And in order to catch the bad guys, you need officers on the street. And right now, Philadelphia is lacking in both. They don't have enough officers on the street, and they don't have a prosecutor who will go after the bad guys if the officers who are on the street can actually catch them.
Correct.
That's the situation.
Yes. Do you want the honest truth of what's going on?
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Sure do.
Police officers are afraid to do their job because Krasner is looking to hang every one of them.
You got to the next point. The next point is, and if they go out there and do their job, they're afraid that the press is going to come after them, or maybe worse yet, Mr. Krasner, who was the officer that was your friend, one of your colleagues who you worked with in the police, who Mr. Krasner took to court. What was his name?
Joe Bologna.
Joe Bologna. Right?
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that arrest. Yep.
And it goes back to what the good governor of Arkansas said. It's all craziness. It's just crazy to do it that way. I got 2 minutes left. I want to go to Dr. Fitzgerald because I knew you wanted to respond to something Mr. Nadler said, and then I want to yield any other time to our chairman of the crime committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I wanted to respond by saying the objective here is not to invalidate or validate, let's say, for our family's purposes, the death penalty. We will stand up and with anyone who's unfairly prosecuted and unfairly sentenced because of bad policing. What we have here is bad prosecutorial actions or inaction. We won't stand for that. So we have rules for a reason, laws for a reason. And when our district attorney selectively, if not even prejudicially, right, determines what it is that he will and will not prosecute, I go back to what you said, Mr. Chairman. Criminals aren't dumb. They're not stupid, referring to what I talked about earlier. They know that when they run into stores en masse in downtown Philadelphia or anywhere in this country, and they run out with hundreds of, or even thousands at times, of dollars worth of products, they will not be prosecuted. If we want to be honest, being honest means talking to real Philadelphians, getting on the street, doing what Mr. Krasner and his pundits said yesterday, just yesterday, and that's let's get some real statistics. Well, let's get some real statistics and see what real Philadelphians think.
Yield the gentleman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I'm going to ask, I think, Mr. Buchetta on this. When the district attorney doesn't prosecute, the public itself, we've talked about police, we've talked about specific victims of crime, but the public gets a malaise of hopelessness and helplessness. Do they continue to call police then when someone busts into their bodega and starts ripping them off?
You've put your finger right on the problem. The demoralization of the police department and the demoralization of the general public is stark. I want to give you one example, Congressman, that I think typifies this. I was involved in the Columbus statue litigation in Marconi Plaza in South Philadelphia. It's a beautiful little plaza in a park right on Broad Street. And I was sitting there with numerous Philadelphia police officers and a gang of 30 ATVs and dirt bikes and no mufflers came roaring down the street. Unmistakable. It was just as abrupt an interruption of a community's life as you can have. And I turned to the police officer and I said, didn't we used to prevent that kind of outrageous lawlessness on the streets? He said, yeah, we used to. Not anymore. You think I'm going to go arrest one of those folks and have Larry Krasner breathing down my neck? Yep. That is a direct example. I was right there. I was an eyewitness. And, Congressman, it is exactly what is demoralizing our community from the point of view of being able to rely on the government to keep safety alive.
Thank you. Gentleman yields back. The gentlelady from Pennsylvania is recognized.